Hello everybody, my name is Temariaaa, and today I just figured that I would go ahead and show you guys the routes that I run on individual islands, because with the Val event coming up, and then of course the St. Patrick's mini event in March, I feel like this is a really good time to get this out here so you guys can practice them and be prepared for when the events begin. I would also like to give a huge congratulations to the winner of the IUH giveaway. Here you go! It did take a while to get this thing given away. The first winner did not contact me. They were given, I think, a total of like 2 weeks to contact me, and they didn't. So then we had to re-roll, and it's just been a scheduling nightmare, but we got it. Congratulations to the winner! I hope you like it! Yay! Completely unrelated, I'm just proud of myself that I finally finished all of the coats from my breeding log. For the sake of time on this video, I will be excluding mainland. I will be going from low islands to high islands. If you guys remember my most recent IUH tutorial, I had a map of Blizzard, but it was incredibly hard to read because Blizzard is kind of built like a maze, and with it being a glacier, there are many different layers. Our first spawn point that we're going to run to is going to be this one over here, and I'm going to try not to cut most of the footage down, even though this will take a while. This spawn point will always have a horse here, or the horse will be back here. Turning around, we're going to come up here. There is a spawn point on the lake, but that will be our last spawn point, if that gives you an idea of how we run this. I will say, if you do not already have them, you guys will be needing the fireworks from Toby on mainland. So I would say to go get that, because it makes running Blizzard so much easier. Here's our second spawn point. This horse will either spawn over here, or it will be up on that hill back this way. We're going to run up here next, and this is the part that I was kind of talking about, how I'm going to tell you guys to go into a cave, but it's not going to be visible on the map, because it isn't. We are right here at that piece that I told you guys about. You're going to jump right here, but you're not going to touch this ravine. Do not touch the ravine in front of me right now. We are going to instead go right and go into the cave. Now this spawn point is a little iffy. Sometimes it's right here, sometimes it's all the way on the outside. When you get to this split, do not go up. You're going to go right past this little igloo right here and turn through. Do not fall off this cliff right here. When you see the icicles, that means turn. You're going to go left, and we're going to come right back outside of this cave. Once you're outside of the cave, you're going to go all the way up here and turn around. And here's another spawn point. Herds also spawn here. This is one of the herd spawns. So we're going to go up again. Jumping over the jump is, that's optional. I just choose to do it. We are not going up there. We are instead going to jump here, past this igloo right here, and we are going to jump this ravine and go up. Sometimes a horse will be spawned in this area right here. Today, as you guys can see, it's not. If you guys like coins, they always have some little jumps right here. There's always objects spread all throughout Blizzard. It's a really good way if you like to pick up little things. So next, we're going to come this way, look for the giant icicle, provided nobody's cut it down, and we are going to go all the way up this hill right here, up this ramp. Here is another spawn point here. Now, there are a few options for this spawn point. As you can see, I can see both of our horses that are up here. But sometimes there will be a horse all the way back here on this little, there's the bridge, on this section over here. Sometimes it will be there, today it is not. So here's one of our spawn points, and the next one is up here. We have an Icelandic sitting over here. I like to circle around, even though we can see that one, just for continuity. I like to circle around this way, and then we were going to jump off right about here. I like to jump onto here, but it's optional. Next, we're going to come down this way. Once again, we're going back down that ramp, and now we're jumping down into the ice field. I think that's what this area is called. Yeah, ice field. Here's our ice field spawn. There's always only ever going to be one horse in the ice field. After we got out of the ice field, we're going to run around this way into this gap here. There is a travel trailer right there, and there will be another horse just over here. Well, bam. Here he is. Then we are going to come down to this little ledge right here, and this is going to be a little tricky on mobile, but on PC, you're just going to jump down by the dock and swing around and go right back into that bottom cave. Coming into the bottom cave, you are going to be met with all of this. You're not even going to touch this middle zone. Well, you will, but you're going to go right across, and you're going to jump over to this ramp down here, and here is your next spawn point. And we're going to come here. There should be another horse spawn down here, so we're going to go down the ramp. There's a little Mustang, and then we're going to turn left and follow this path here. We're pretty much going to loop around. It's going to take us right back up. Now, at this point is where you're probably going to want to get your fireworks out. They're in the quest section of your inventory. Get your fireworks out and loop around and go back up this ramp. Turn, and we're going to go over to these rocks over here. If you miss this jump, it's okay. Just go back up the ramp. And then we are going to place down our fireworks at these rocks, and that will unlock the second part of the cave, allowing us to go through, and there will be one horse spawn either in here or it will be in the hallway to this one. So here is this spawn, and then we'll loop out here, this way, turn, and then when you get to the split, you're going to take a right, and you are now right back out at where you began. The last spawn will be here around the lake. Sometimes they're on the lake, sometimes they're on the hill by the lake. In our case, this little guy is right here. And boom, now you've done it. You've run Blizzard. The next island I'll be showing you guys how to run is, of course, Forest. You don't need anything special, so you don't need any quest items, you don't need anything like that, so just try to stick with me here. We're going to start at the dock and run up here past Larry and Hogan. Fancy, fancy, fancy. You can pick up the resources around here. I like to loop behind this cabin right here, as our first horse spawn is usually around the cabin. There are always two horses in this area, so we're going to loop back around this rock. There's our second horse right there. We're going to loop around the rock and come back up here. Now, a lot of people will often like to go into that cave. I'm not going to take that tunnel. We're just going to go right past it and come around until we're at the well. And then if you didn't see your second horse on the other side, you would see it on this path here. As these paths connect to the other side we just ran, you're going to go right past these, come on down, going to go underneath the root. Here's your next spawn point. And then we are going to actually turn left and go down the beach. There are anywhere from 2 to 3 horses on this beach, but there's always at least 2. So there's number 1, and if we come down here, we should be able to see number 2 down here on the beach. Yep, right here, this is number 2. Sometimes there is a third that will be further down that way, but I think because we had one that was just kind of sitting all the way up there, we don't have a third this time. So we're going to turn around and go right back up the beach to go back up to that pathway. When you get back up the beach, you're going to go right back on the path towards the waterfall. We're We're gonna run past this way. Now, sometimes there is a horse up on this little island in the middle. You should be able to see it from here, but we're gonna check that island as our last spawn point anyway, so you don't have to worry about it too much. We're gonna go across these planks, and then we are going to once again turn left and go down into the flower field. There are always 2 horses spawned in the flower field. Make sure you check for 2. We've got the first one here, which is a Mustang, and then we're gonna run around, and the second one is right here. Our second one is an Andy. This is our flower field, so we're gonna come to this one right here, this path where you can see the dock ahead of you. We're gonna come back here, and this is pretty much us looping through the beach to turn around. So we're gonna go through this beach because sometimes there are horses spawned on it. I think I can see one ahead of me right now. Yes. There are sometimes horses spawned over there or right here. In our case, we have one right here, so we're gonna loop back in, and this will take us back into the flower field. Yeah. Sorry, it's a little hard to consistently talk. I'm used to like cutting my footage, but I really wanna make sure you guys can see where I'm going. So next, we're gonna turn left again, and we're gonna come all the way back out here by the waterfall. We're gonna cross this little mini island right here. Again, picking up resources is entirely optional. And we're gonna go up. This is usually where our last spawn point is, but we already know that our horse is on the island. So you can see the island from here, and this is also where a horse can spawn up here on this cliff here. When you have a horse on the island, there will not be a horse up on this cliff, and vice versa. So if there's no horse on the island, you know the horse is up here. Next, we're headed on up to the mid-tier islands. We have arrived at Royal Island. The only island that you really needed anything special for was, of course, Blizzard, because you needed the fireworks. But with Royal, we're just going to start here at the dock, and we're going to go straight down towards the quarry. So we are going to go up this hill here. There's a little field where you'll see your first spawn point. Make sure you look up sometimes, because they do sometimes find little structures. But here is our first spawn point right here. We're gonna come this way. There should be another one in this vicinity. There it is. It's over there. Sometimes it'll be down here or it'll be up on this hill right here. But there's our next one. So then from here, you're not gonna go into the quarry. You're actually going to cut across the water. We're gonna go across here, and we will be at the second prong of Royal with the lake and some of the structures. I am currently getting a visual issue. It's due to Roblox. It's not Wild Horse Islands. I have tried to troubleshoot that a few times, but this dark ring is unfortunately just Roblox. So now we're gonna come here. There are 2 spawns by the lake always. There's number 1. Number 2 is right here. There are both of our lake spawns. So we're gonna come back down here, and we are now running down the middle prong. This is a good time to run this way and make sure you didn't miss that first spawn point. So I like to run underneath this little piece of ruins here, and you can actually see your first spawn areas over here. From that way, we're gonna go right just a little bit, and there's usually a spawned horse in this field right here. In our case, he is sitting right here. So we're gonna go down towards the mine and go up the hill next to the mine. Gonna run past these little houses. I wish we had these on the island before. That'd be so cute. And this is where your next spawn point will be. Sometimes it's tucked in this little hill back here, but as you can see, we have a fjord right here. So we're gonna go past the mine. If you want to pick up any relics, now's a good time to do so. I'm gonna pick up this one right here as I'm collecting them just a little bit for a video. Your next spawn point will be either right by the mine, so like we've got this little one right here, or down here by the mine. There are more spawn points that will sometimes be up on this hill. Make sure you don't miss them. As you can see right now, we don't really have anybody right here, but usually we do. Sometimes they fall down into the river. Next, we're gonna come back up. There will also be a few spawn points on this hill, like this icy right here. We're gonna go up. We're pretty much going up to Cal. If you guys don't know who Cal is, he is the quest NPC on Royal. So we're gonna go all the way up. We're gonna pass Cal and his lovely little horse. Go up again, and our final spawn point is up here in the castle hill. And here is our final spawn point. Congratulations, you now know how to run Royal. Sorry my explanations aren't the best. I've never actually had to explain the way that I run. Now, on to Desert. Welcome to Desert. Desert is pretty straightforward and easy. We're gonna start right here at the dock, and we're gonna come up this hill here. You could also optionally make the hill your last stop, but there's always one horse spawned over here. Sometimes it's down and around the hill, sometimes it's up on top of the hill, but it's always at this hill. As you can see, we have a Mustang down here. We're gonna cross past Larry and Hogan. Hi, Hogan. And we're gonna come down this hill, and there will always be 2 horses spawned near the oasis. So here's our first. We have a lovely little Teke. We're gonna keep running this way. If we go up a little, sometimes we can see our spawn point that's over there. But our second oasis horse is just right here. We have a little Marwari. We're gonna go through this little area here, our circle. Sometimes there's a horse spawned in it. In our case, it's an Icelandic. And then instead of going straight towards the giant cactus, we're gonna take a right and go up, because we have a spawn point sitting up here on this hill. As you can see today, we have a thoroughbred, so we're gonna turn right back around and go back towards that giant cactus. And there are a few options here you can do. In my case, I'm gonna do the full circle, so we're gonna go right past the second oasis. This is my favorite one. I love taking pictures here, where we have a lovely little standard bred. Gonna loop past on the hill. You don't have to go up the hill if you already know where your spawn point is, but again, for consistency, I'm going up the hill. We're gonna loop back around this oasis and go straight up and over the Sphinx. Sometimes there's a spawn point on the Sphinx, other times there's a spawn point below the Sphinx or on the other side. Just know that there is always a horse near the Sphinx. So we're gonna go up. Here is our spawn point on top of the Sphinx. Again, sometimes it'll spawn down here in the ribcage, but we don't judge. So we're gonna come around, and for this one, for Desert, you do need to do a quest. You need to have the bridge. So you should be doing quests for Ruby in order to get this bridge. We're gonna go up, and I have made some changes to my pathing on Desert in recent months, but here's our first spawn point up here. It's a Teke. We're gonna go run down here, and again, this is where you need the bridge. You need to be questing on Desert to get the bridge. We're gonna go right across this bridge. One more time, you get it from questing. We will have one spawn point over here. In our case, it is a thoroughbred. Now, before they changed the way that spawn points worked, I used to go that way, but now we're actually gonna come down this way, and we're gonna go down the ramp on this side. So again, when you get across the bridge, you're gonna take a right, and you're gonna come right back down this ramp here, and we're gonna loop around the back of Desert now, because there will be anywhere from 2 to 3 spawn points back here. We have an Appaloosa, and if we keep running, there should be another spawn point ahead of us, which I think is another Appaloosa. That's okay. There used to be a spawn point on that hill back there. Sometimes they do still spawn on this hill, sometimes they spawn beneath it, but the hill is usually going to be your last spawn. So just for consistency, we're gonna go up the hill, but I'm pretty sure that Appaloosa was from the hill. Well, boom. You have now finished Desert. Again, Do your quests. Please get the bridge. It will help you a lot. Welcome to Mountain Island, arguably the hardest island to run in the game as of right now. Alright, so starting from the dock, we're going to take a right, and we're going to go partially up this hill. The reason we're going up this hill is sometimes there's a horse over on that side or this side, but this is our starting side. So sometimes we'll have a horse up here. If not, you just jump down, and we're going to follow down here to our other first spawn. I have a quarter horse. There's another one right here, which is a Mustang. We're going to travel along the beach. This one's a really long one, so I might have to stop a few times to, like, catch my breath. I don't want to hear you guys, like, I don't want you guys to hear me, like, have an asthma attack or something. I'm getting over pneumonia, so it's a little hard. We're going to come up here on this ramp, and we're going to take a left and go up the mountain. Just follow the path on this one. We're just going to go right up. There are a few extra spots I'm going to show you guys to check, but they usually won't have a horse in them. So again, like, you can tweak this route as you please. So we're just going to keep following, follow the path, just keep going. I promise you'll get up there eventually. We're almost there. Almost there. Alright, here's your next spawn right here. We have a quarter horse sitting up here, and we are going to take a right and go up. There will be 2 horses spawned up here. There's only one, that usually means that the other one was your second, but here's your next spawn point. And of course, we are going to immediately take a right and swing back. If there's any gray flowers, collect them. You can only get them on this island, so remember to grab your gray flowers. Now, this part is where it gets tricky. We're going to pass this cave here, and when we get to about this log jump here, or right before the trailer, at this big tree, we are going to jump down back onto the pathway down here. And we are going to pass this little cave here, and loop around. We'll be able to see the dock. Zoom out a little in case a horse got down there. Usually it doesn't, but just in case. Come past this horse and follow the pathway up again. I know it seems tedious. It is. You can collect your resources if you want. Here's our next spawn point, as well as the cave. Feel free to break into that cave if you want to. You know, maybe you're not a high enough level to get the jungle. Go take some jungle gems from there. Gonna come through here. Here's our next spawn point right in front of me. Sometimes this thing is down on this path here. So I will always encourage you guys to usually check down here. As you can see, we don't have a horse right there. But when coming back up from checking that pathway, we already know we have a Mustang up there, but you can always go ahead and peek into this cave right here and see if anything's there. So now we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna come up and we have another jump coming up here. So once you get out of this cave, at this first tree right here, you're gonna turn and you're gonna jump down onto this beach. There's not always a horse spawn down here, but today there is. We have a paint horse. This is usually, if I weren't regularly stopping, this is where I would stop to get my stamina back. So I'm gonna stop here for a second to get my breath back. Alright, let's continue on. I had to use my inhaler for a sec. Pneumonia does not play around. I'm still recovering. I've been told my cough will last for a couple weeks, so kind of stuck with it. We're gonna go back up these stairs. Take it easy. And then we are going to go up this path. Check the sides sometimes if you want to zoom out. Sometimes a horse will wander down to the sides. It's not likely, but it does happen. Here's our next spawn point. There are more spawn points up here. Sometimes there's one right there on that pathway, but just gonna keep moving. You're gonna loop down here, and by the fire, you're gonna jump down to this first layer down here. And just like last time, we're gonna go ahead and follow the path. I want you to stick with the path for the most part. I'm kind of swerving everywhere. I never said I was a good driver. But we're gonna follow this pathway along the beach, and then here's our next spawn point. We're gonna go up this area right here, this little twisty piece. We're gonna go up, turn, turn again. Now there are usually 2 horses in this area. There's almost always one in this cave here. I call them the cave dweller. Look for your cave dweller. In my case, my cave dweller is a standard red. Really tiny one at that. That candy wafer's just big. But our cave dweller right now is a standard red, so we can turn around. We don't have to check the whole cave, but if you like to be thorough, check the whole cave. There's almost always one cave dweller. Here's our next horse right here. Go up. We will now be right by Doug again. Doug is the quest NPC for Mountain. He doesn't have any special items. You don't need to quest with Doug. We just present the fact that he lives on a mountain. So now we're gonna go right. We're gonna come past this house right here. Then we're gonna take a left and go up this hill above the waterfall. Sometimes there are horses up here. I usually just check up here for any gray flowers. We don't have any resources I need up here. So we're gonna take a right, jump back down. Here's our spawn point we saw earlier, and then we're gonna jump down again. And here is usually where your last spawn point will be if there's a horse here. Ours is a quarter horse. And now you have successfully run Mountain. Congratulations! This one loops right back around to the dock, so you don't have to reset to get back to spawn. Jungle is relatively easy, but just like last time, we're gonna start here at the dock. You have 2 options here. I take both. If you want to get it over and done with quickly, we'll take this cave. But I am going to go up by Larry. It's become a habit because I always need to sell things to him. I don't today, but you know how it is. We're going to come down here by this hill and cross this pathway here. Our first spawn point will be over here. So we're going to cross the river. Jumping is necessary. You can just run into it. We have an Icelandic here and a fjord over there. Usually I will only catch the Icelandic and then move on and catch the fjord last, but we're not mass catching for this video. We're just running. So your next spawn point is up on this hill. We have a Clyde. Sometimes there will be a second horse. It's always good to hold a lasso and use it kind of to scan for horses because you can see their hit points light up. It makes it really easy to tell where your horses are, but when you run things as many times as I have, you start to memorize where they might be anyway. Alright, so your next spawn point will usually be down here. However, I think we don't have one down here right now. That's okay. We're gonna come up this hill right here. We're gonna pass Sebastian. We love Sebastian. Does he give you anything special? No. Do I love him anyway? Yes. He's probably one of my favorite quest NPCs. So, the next place you're gonna go will usually be here, and I'm gonna show you why I'm right here instead of over there. If you do not see a horse over there, your horse is over on this cliff over here. Now, of course, I don't have one over here, but I just want to show you guys where it will be if you don't have one in this section. It will always spawn over there by the water. It will be over here, kind of tucked into the pathway. I used to just follow the pathways. I don't anymore. But, of course, our hill spawn is this fjord up here. So, hello, this little fjord. We can run right past you. We're gonna come up this cliff up here, and we're gonna jump. We're just gonna jump right down. Now, of course, as everybody knows, when you go down this hill, you have to mourn the loss of the bridge we used to have down here. You don't actually have to, but you can still see its indent in the ground. Look, this is where our bridge used to be. I miss it. Anyway, you'll usually have one horse down here. Sometimes it's underground, so you really gotta scan for it. Yep, ours is underground. It is a Mustang. It's not an IUH, so I don't need to catch it. This is the tough part. It can be a little difficult to get up this hill on mobile, but we're gonna go up the side of the hill. Try to keep your horse straight for the most part, kind of turning inwards to catch it on the side of the hill, and then keep running. Okay, next up, you'll sometimes have a horse in the water here, so just make sure you have a lasso out when you come up here. On a few occasions, all of your horses will be up here for like this hill area, and you won't have any down here. But you have a Mustang right here, which means a lot of our horses are going to be down here. Not all of them, just like 1 or 2 will usually be up here. In our case, we jump down. Here's a fjord. There's a lot of horses in this area, so keep up. You have I think that's either a Mustang or a quarter horse all the way back here. It could be an Andy. It is a quarter horse. There's a quarter horse back here. So now we're gonna come around. This one, you don't really have to have a measure of where you go. You'll be running through this area again in just a minute. Here's a Mustang. There is, it's either a Dutch warm blood or a standard red over there. We're gonna come across and we're gonna go up this hill right here. Again, this is why I didn't really need to check on that quarter horse, because just running by it, if I were to look down, I can see that the horse is there and I can see what it is. But it never hurts to be thorough. Just coming down this way, we're gonna go right past here. There's the island unique code, I think. Yeah, there's the island unique code. Hello, little paint horse. We're gonna come over here to this cliff here. Sometimes your horse will be in the water. It is not in the water this time. So we're gonna go right through the water and we're gonna jump down. Now there will almost always be, not even almost, there will always be 2 horses down here. So here's number 1, and then look for number 2. Number 2 is over here hiding behind a tree. There are your 2, I call these like the cliff spawns, but they're not on a cliff. Here's number 2, and then the usual spot that I stop to take a break for my stamina is usually right here on this bridge. It's a really good midpoint in the run. When your stamina has regenerated, we're gonna keep running. Now sometimes you'll have 1 or 2 horses over here. I have 2, but for the sake of consistency, we're gonna go across this bridge. You make a right and go across the little root bridge. Then we're gonna loop this way. This will allow you to see any of your horses you have on the side of the water. Of course, our horse that's supposed to be on the other side is currently sitting over here. We've got a Dutch warm blood and a standard bred sitting over here, so we're just gonna keep moving. Gonna come up here. Sometimes there will be a horse spawn here, sometimes there isn't. It's fine. Here's another standard bred that we're passing right here. We're gonna come up this hill. Now this is what usually tripped me up when I used to try to learn jungle. Here is our second spawn for this hill, so we're gonna turn around. We're gonna come down, but we're not gonna go back the way we came. We're gonna cross this pathway down here. On the map, just make a note of it to cross this pathway. There's there's a fork in the road. Go right across it and go up this hill. And here is one of those horses that we saw earlier. Gonna cross this river again, and you'll notice we are right back where we were with all those other horses. And we're now closer to this horse to be able to see that it is a standard bred. So now from here, you pretty much just follow the pathway down. So we're gonna go up this hill, because sometimes they can spawn up here. Not super confident that I have one up here, but oh well, you always gotta check. And this will usually be your last spawn. Sometimes it'll be over here or over there, in which case our last spawn is the fjord. And congratulations, you have now run jungle. Next up, probably the second easiest island on this list, we have Lunar Island. Starting at spawn, the one spawn point a lot of people forget is here, is of course, I like to call it Hogan's spawn, but this is the only spawn point on this first island here. On this one, we're gonna have, I believe it's 4 spawn points on this next island we're headed to. So we're gonna run this way. A good way to tell you is that it is down on the map, or if you go to that spawn point, you just go, I guess I would say from spawn, that's left. You go left from spawn. Go all the way down on the map, and we're gonna cross this bridge down here. Your next spawn point will be right across the bridge. It won't always be standing there, like right in front of you, but it's definitely there. So we're gonna come down, and now we're gonna follow the path pretty much. It's a good thing to have a lasso out in case you have trouble seeing where everything is. There is our second spawn point of Lunar, sitting right here. Fancy. Now we're gonna follow the path again. Our third spawn point will be right next to this one. It'll be up here. There it is. It is a paint horse. Very, very nice. Very, very classy. Now we're gonna go up. Our next spawn point will not be on this path, but instead it will be up towards the top of the UFO. So we're gonna come all the way up. All the way. It's a really long path. Sometimes it'll fall down in the crevice beneath the UFO, so you really gotta have your lasso out. In our case, we got lucky. It didn't. It's just sitting right here, again, by the UFO. That's a space lounge. If you guys want the badge or the achievement, go up there. Next, we're gonna do the most fun thing on this island ever. We're gonna jump off this cliff, go all the way down, where we'll have another horse down here. We have, of course, a Dutch warm blood spawn down here. Now, another fun part of the run is cutting right across this water. We're not even gonna bother going to the main island. We're going to our third island right here. So we're going to the Half Moon. Gotta run all the way across. This is a very long run. I think Lunar is one of the shorter islands to run. It's one of my favorites. I run a lot. I've caught 10 island genie hairs on Lunar. So I guess you could say I like it. We're gonna take a hard right. We're gonna go up the side of this hill. Do the same thing you did on jungle. Kind of try to keep your horse straight and turn in just a teeny weeny little bit to kind of try and catch the side of the hill. Here's our next spawn point. There are always 2 in this field. Our second spawn point is right here. This is number 2. Herds can also spawn in this area. Lunar has 2 herd locations. This is just one of them. Next, we're gonna once again jump down and we're gonna go across this bridge. There are 3 spawn points on this last full moon island. 3 spawn points. Our first of the 3 is going to be on the side of this hill here. We can kind of see it down here. There it is. It's a little Mustang. Next, we're gonna go up the hill again, cling to the side of the hill, and try to keep your horse catching onto the side. Next up, your next spawn point is gonna be down here in the middle. We have another Mustang. Is that a Mustang? Yeah, we have another Mustang. And your third is gonna be up here on the hill. There are 2 options for it. It can be right here, which as you can see it's not, but it can be right here, or you can have to run along the side, and you will end on this spawn point here, up here on the edge of the bowl, as I like to call it. Congratulations, you can run Lunar. And finally, we have Volcano. Volcano is very easy. It's the parkour that makes a lot of people hate it. Feel free to run it with an Infernal. If you don't have an Infernal, grab an Arabian. They have the best jump stat, and remember to use your quick stop button. At any time, you can hit stop on the side of your screen to quick stop. Or alternatively, you can hit control if you're on PC. Here's the first spawn point on Volcano. It's always on this first section here. Again, be very careful and remember you have a quick stop. You have a quick sprint and a quick stop. They are shift and control if you're on PC. If you're on mobile, they are on the side of your screen. So jump, stop, jump, and then just keep running. Alright? You won't always need to do that, but I choose to if you want to take a more simple route. I'm gonna grab this mineral. I currently have a lot of volcanic minerals. That's just been from a few people giving me some. Then I've been on Volcano a lot. So getting back on track, we're gonna run up here by the geysers. And here's our next spawn point. There will always be a horse at the geysers. Keep that in mind. Sometimes it's right there, sometimes it's all the way in the back by the beach. Other times it'll be right here. Now, if you want the easiest jump to take here, surprisingly, it's not going to be that big one. You're going to jump here and turn to give yourself more room and then jump again. You also can just stop and then jump again. I prefer to keep moving when I jump. I find it gives me a lot more practice and kind of keeps me prepared to run Volcano over and over. We're going to keep running around this perimeter. We never have to go on the volcano. There are no horses on the volcano, ever. So we're going to keep moving down here. Here's our next spawn point. This is also one of the herd locations. A herd can spawn here. So our next spawn point, we have a quarter horse. Easiest jump here is going to be this big rock right here. We're going to come up. Here's our next spawn point and another herd location. You can have a herd spawn right here. I've never caught an IUH on Volcano, but I'm here a lot, so I know my way around. So we're going to keep coming down. Now here, if you want an easy jump, do not go forward. You are going to jump this way instead. And that way you have avoided all of the tinier jumps right there. See? Easy. You guys are learning so much already. Here's our next spawn point. As you see, just chilling right there. Next, we're coming up on the Dragon's Den. The Dragon's Den is another herd location. You can have a herd spawn right here in this field. When dealing with the Dragon's Den, sometimes they can spawn on top of the Dragon's Den. So we're going to go up the side of the Dragon's Den and get a lasso out in case there's one up here, and sure enough there is. Just chilling. And then we are going to jump back down. If you don't see one on top of the Dragon's Den, it'll either be right here, or sometimes the ones that are on the bottom or on the top can fall into the Dragon's Den. So if you don't see one, check the lava. Usually it's in the lava. And for our final spawn point, we're going to come down here. Do not take any of these jumps. You're going to go straight for this big one. Skip that one and jump here, and then jump again. And here is your final spawn point of Volcano, right here by the little mini mine, I guess I would call it. As you can see, we have an Andy right here, and that was our final spawn location. And to cover this one, you can just jump here, run along it, jump across, and you are back at Larry. Congratulations! Woo! You can run Volcano now! And with that, you guys now know how to run all of the major islands in Wild Horse Islands. I hope this helped a few of you guys out. I'm not the best teacher, but I did my best. Remember, for some islands, you do need to do some quests. So for Blizzard, make sure you have the faulty fireworks from mainland. And for Desert, make sure you've done all of Ruby's quests to get the bridge. With that, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, congratulations to the IUH giveaway winner. I hope you like your prize. Yeah. Good morning for now, guys. Goodbye.